Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. Happy Friday. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Guys, how we doing?
I'm doing great.
You're doing great.
Make me want to holler. Old Dame Dollar.
Does he? Wait a second. Old Dame Dollar's coming after LeBron now. It's Dame time, LeBron. Are you ready?
Don't worry about that.
You're going to be LeBron Nickel.
No.
Dame Dollar's going to make you LeBron Nickel. Here we go.
We're going to talk about
Now
Dollar.
you got your man, the quote-unquote GOAT versus the superstar, who is Damian Lillard.
We'll cross that
Here
bridge
we
later.
go. It's
We got
crossed.
to talk about Dame.
It is crossed. Here we go.
Fired up this Friday. How about we talk about what we saw last night? Guys, how good has the bubble been? And Damian Lillard continued to put the Blazers on his back last night as Portland locked up the 8th seed and a spot in the play-in matchup with a 1-point win over the Nets. Dame had a game-high 42 points, 12 assists, and went 8 of 14 from beyond the arc, including a pull-up three from nearly half court. Shannon, you are fired up today. Tell me a letter grade for Dame.
A+++, like 50 pluses.
Wait, hold on. I got to write that down. And it got 50?
50.
I don't have time. We don't have enough show for me to do 50.
Yes.
Let's make it 100.
Yes.
Let's just double it.
Skip.
100 plus.
Skip, this might have
Thank
been.
you.
Ooh, I'm trying to rank this. What would you say? Would you say this is the Beatles on Ed Sullivan? Would you say it was something like that?
Are you that old?
Yeah.
That's way before my time.
Skip, he put the team on his back. 42 last night. He created with 12 assists, and that's what makes him so spectacular because he can get these huge numbers scoring,
Wow.
but he can also dish the ball out. 69 total points he accounted for. 61, 51, 42 in his final 3 games. No margin of error. The last 3 games they won by a grand total of 7 points. And the level of difficulty in which he's shooting these threes. He got the nickname Logo Lillard. He takes one step past half court. And he's like, if I get a look, I'm going to let this ball go. Because what they started doing is trapping him, getting the ball out of his hands. Said, nah, I want CJ. He seems to be struggling from the floor. I want Gary Trent Jr. I want someone other than Dame Lillard to beat me. And they made one simple mistake, Skip.
Yeah.
Because at first they started trapping him at half court. But I guess they put the rookie in and he forgot.
Oh.
And you heard the mic up, and I saw that this morning.
Yeah.
Who was that? Spencer? Temple.
Oh,
Says,
Garrett Temple.
Yeah, I don't care who that is.
Yeah.
That CJ, that could be Michael Jordan in the corner. You come get Dame Lillard when he got the ball because he will let it go from the NBA side. And that's exactly what he did. He was special. He was special. And I was like, oh, man. He came down. They were up 2. He lost the ball. I said, God dog it, Dame. That's all somebody needed to see you do. He said, well, hold on just a second, Sharpe. Just hold on just a second. He came back and took it from Karis LeBron. Give me that. Can't let you have this. Took the ball back. CJ does what he does. They go up by 4. But he was spectacular down the stretch. Starting the fourth quarter, they're down 7. He has 12 points, 4 assists, and the threes that he was shooting. Skip, do you realize that he went 9 of 17 on the season from 35 feet or more? Let that sink in for just a second. 9 of 17.
Does those count 4?
Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Averaging 30, dishing out 8 assists.
Really?
Can I interest you in that?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
So that's what he did. He said, I want to go down to the bubble with an opportunity to get into the playoffs. Play our way in. He played himself into the 8th seed. Now Memphis has to beat them twice in order to advance.
Yep.
I like what I saw from Dame Lillard. And that's why he's a superstar.
You love it.
He's a superstar times 3.
Times 3?
Yeah.
What is LeBron, a superstar
Don't worry
times
about LeBron. This is not
2?
about LeBron. This is not about LeBron. We'll deal with LeBron at a later date and time. Right now, this is all about Dame. Looking at this here,
Really?
it's about Dame time.
So is it now time for Steph Curry to be ranked number 2 among shooting guards? Is that what you just said?
Steph Curry.
Damian just eclipsed Steph as a distant shooter. I think Shannon Sharpe just made that case right here on live TV on Undisputed. Welcome.
Everybody's trying to see. Yeah. Everybody sees what you're trying to do.
I'm not
this is
trying
not about
to do
Steph. This is not about KD. This is about Dame and what you saw last night.
Yesterday was about Dame and Michael Jordan. So I don't know. I'm just trying to go with you. I'm trying to go up into the echelon that you have now lifted Damian Lillard into.
37.6 and 9.6 assists. First in points, third in assists.
Okay.
Wow.
So tell me when it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Okay. So You keep telling me that Damian Lillard is a superstar, all caps, S-U-P-E-R star, right?
Yeah, big one.
So now that you have given him an A50 plus, I'll give you 50 plus.
50 plus.
A50 plus.
Yes.
Now that you've told me he is so spectacular and he is so special, I have to grade him that way. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I've got to grade him on that curve because he's now on the LeBron curve as a super duper star, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so given that, I'm going to have to give him a B plus because there's a little known fact about the game last night. While he did score 42 points and while he did go logo Lillard early in the fourth quarter, he stepped across half court and said, I think I like this. I'm feeling it, and he shot it, and he made it, and it was spectacular. Despite all that, would you believe that over the last 7-12 of that very close shootout of a game last night, Logo Lillard scored only 3 points? The last 7-12, he scored only 3 points, and he scored none from the field because those 3 were all from the free throw line, and those 3 were not deserved. And by the way, after he scored those 3 from the free throw line, he went the last 3:19 of the game and didn't score a single point. Not a single point. So he scored 3 from the free throw line in the last 7-12 of the game, and Shannon Sharpe gave him an A50 pluses game and called it so special. I'm just stating facts here.
Ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so can we take a quick look at the foul that was called on that, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Luanu Cabarro? Here it is. It's just this little touch foul behind. It's not a foul. That's like a James Harden. Maybe he's now in the James Harden Memorial class.
I heard the whistle.
Did he touch his hand? No, he didn't. Did he touch his arm? No, he didn't. Did he get in the way of Dame's landing spot? Did he interfere with his landing? No, he didn't. He might have barely with his left hand touched his back so that he made sure he didn't like bang into him at all because Dame pulled up unexpectedly.
Touch foul.
A touch foul?
That's what they call it.
It was an outrageous, bad call, non-call. It should have been a non-call. That shot was not remotely affected by the touch of the back. You know it, and I know it. So the truth is, and I give Damian credit because he will make his free throws as opposed to somebody he's about to play in the first round of the playoffs.
No.
Okay.
Hold on, you just criticized Dame about free throws.
The king of late free throw misses he's about to play against. Dame makes his free throws, although he did miss a couple late against the Clippers. But we won't go there today because after that, he just blanked out. Yeah, he just disappeared, but we're going to get to that because we need to walk quickly through what happened at the end of this game, shall we?
Sure.
The MVP of this game was actually C.J. McCollum playing with a transverse process fracture. We see a lot of quarterbacks go through that. I don't think it's just an irritant. But last night, did he not look 100% healthy to you?
He played well.
He played really well. I thought he made the key plays in this game. As did their newcomer. We've been talking about Gary Trent Jr. He takes and makes big shots.
Yeah.
So we start with 2:29 left in the game. Gary Trent Jr. made a huge shot for them because it was the first one that put them up 2, if we can see this shot. It's from Dame. Nice feed, wide open, kaboom. And that gave them a lead they would not relinquish the rest of the way.
I love how you did that. Oh, that was from Dame. No, say it with your chest out. Oh, the assist from Dame Lillard because they were trapping him. Okay, continue.
Okay. All right, and speaking of trapping, to me, if you are a super duper star, as you have proclaimed him, if you're A50 pluses, superstars can't be trapped. Every game Michael Jordan ever played, they tried to run 2 people at him. It's untrappable. He's unguardable. LeBron has had 2 people run at him a lot in his career. It's unguardable. There are ways to get the basketball. There are ways you can't. If you're that guy who can score 60 plus a game, you can get open 1,000 different ways. You can run plays. You can come set a pick. No 2 people can stop you from getting around them and getting your shot.
So in other words, you're telling me if they run 2 people at you, you should be able to overcome that, right?
Absolutely. Well, over the last 7-12, you should score one field goal, just one field goal somehow, some way. If you're a super-duper star and this is a teeter-totter of a shootout, you got to score me one basket. Just find me one. Just one.
So see,
you went 50 pluses, and I didn't see one field goal in 7 minutes and 12 seconds.
Because you base everything on scoring.
Oh.
In sports, in basketball, in football, it's more than just scoring. But let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Is assisting not a part of the game?
Sure.
Is stealing the basketball not a part of the game?
Okay, I'm going to get there.
So
in fact, I'm there right now. Thank you for doing that. Because with 1:19 left, Dame did try a shot. He tried to create his own shot, if we can see this. And he goes to the right. He missed it. Just a little jumper. Not his shot, not his cup of tea. But what did he do coming down? He did not give up on the play, and I give him high marks for this because that's Caris LeVert, who had become basically unstoppable going into the lane, scoring 8- and 10-foot jump shots.
Right.
And to Dame's credit, he did not quit on the play. He didn't sulk. He didn't pout after he missed a crucial shot that could have been a dagger of a little jump shot. And he goes down and takes the ball away because at that point, you could have been in trouble because they were only up 2 and Caris LeVert would have had a chance to tie the game. Okay?
Correct.
So I'm going to give you that. That's the one play he did make down the stretch. Then what happens with 53 seconds left? We come right back down, and CJ was able to do what Dame didn't do on the previous possession. CJ said, okay, I got this. Swish. That was CJ stood for clutch jumper. CJ clutch jumper.
Now you need to stop.
Well, that was the dagger right there because that put them up 4. That gave them a.
But how many times had Dame passed out of the double team, passed the ball to CJ in the corner for a 3, and he clanked it? Dame Lillard made more threes in last night's game than CJ missed, and CJ missed 6, and Dame made 8. Come on, Skip.
Was that not a money shot?
Yes.
That was a Dame Dollar shot.
Let me ask you a question. If Dame Lillard does not do what he does, is CJ in position to do what he did?
Well,
yes
he
or
did.
no?
No, he did. He put him in position.
Okay,
but I'm all about money time. I'm all about winning time, as Magic Johnson used to say. And you know what happened over the last 7-12. Okay, so then we finally get, speaking of CJ, we get to the last shot because the Nets, as I kept telling you all week, they will not go away.
No, they play hard.
That team's got guts, it's got savvy, it's got instinct, it's got killer will in it with you know, and half the team stayed home.
Jock Vaughn had him playing well.
He did.
He's going to get some serious consideration for the head coaching
job. And we're
going
to talk about this later, but there's this guy named Durant and there's this guy named Irving who obviously did not come to the bubble, and they are really good at what they do. And if you throw them into the mix and you throw Dinwiddie, who averaged 21 a game, back into the mix, and Taurean Prince and DeAndre Jordan and Wilson Chandler, all of a sudden you've got a basketball team, right? You got a contender for the East. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But we come to the last play of the game now. And again, on Inside the NBA, TNT, Charles Barkley's predicting Portland, but they were just killing them for not playing any defense because this was a shootout, and Portland has never been accused of playing a whole lot of defense.
Their defense is their offense.
I got it. But to CJ's credit, he sucked it up and gutsed it up and savvied it up at the end of the game, and he said, I got him. I got Caris LeVert because you knew what was coming.
Yes.
Caris is going to work on him, and Caris wants to get to his spot in the lane. He needs 8 feet, 6 feet, 5 feet, or maybe even to attack the rim if he feels like he's got a highway to the basket.
Right.
And what did CJ do on this last play, if we could see it? He denied him the lane. It was hellacious good defense by a bad defensive team. This is strong. And he forced him into a step-back, fall-away jump shot that Caris did not want to take and didn't take, to me, with much conviction. He didn't shoot it like he meant it.
I don't like the last possession, Skip. You got 19 seconds.
Yep.
He spent 13 of those seconds just dribbling. Skip, if that's me, I'm going to make you come down and beat me. Because if I can't tie you, I'm going to try to get a bucket quick, foul you, and make you make the free throws and then get another crack at it. I'm not going to dribble all the way down to 13, all the way down to 14 seconds, and then go.
All right. But he had been pretty special himself through that game. He'd made 16 of 29 shots. He had 37 of his own points.
Right.
So he had been matching CJ pretty much shot for shot.
Skip, he was getting 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 foot from the lane at will against everybody.
He did.
So why would you all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm going to dribble, and then I'm going to take a 15-footer or 18-footer? What you've been getting 6 feet from the basket all night long.
Okay, but CJ denied that. He took those little lanes away on both sides. He tried to go right, he tried to go left. He couldn't find an escape hatch. He couldn't get free, and he pulled up and took a shot he was not thinking about taking, and he clanked it pretty badly.
Right.
It didn't have that much of a shot of going in.
Right.
And you survived.
Yeah, but Skip, I'm going to have to disagree with you because here's the thing when you talk about Dame. Now, remember, at the start of the fourth quarter, they're down by 7 points. Down by 7.
Yep.
Dame scores 12. He assists 4. And over the final 4 minutes of the ball game, he has 3 assists. One to Carmelo for a big 3. A layup to Nurkic. And Garrett Trent Jr., you mentioned that 3. You see what you do? What I see, and a lot of people see, when a great player has a historic game and all of a sudden he doesn't take the shot to put him ahead or win the game, you always say...
Wait, who are a lot of people?
A lot of people.
Three people on Twitter?
No.
I don't know who they are.
No, a lot of people.
Can we name some names?
No, I ain't giving no name. That's confidential information. I don't dry snitch like you.
Okay.
Because you gave out confidential information that you and Dame talked.
No, he did.
No,
he was the one who went public with our private conversation. He tweeted it.
What did you do? What did you do? CJ made one bucket at the end.
It was the bucket.
CJ saved Dame's bacon.
Well, was that not the winning shot?
CJ saved his bacon. Just like Ray Allen saved his bacon, just like Kyrie saved his bacon. But you said something very interesting about 4 minutes ago.
Yep.
You said, Dame, if you're that guy, traps and double teams should have no effect.
Yep.
So why did Michael Jordan get past the bad boy Pistons the first 3 times?
Because they were so deep and so mentally tough, and they had so many dogs on that team.
GOAT.
They had 10 dogs.
He's the GOAT.
Because the rules were so different. You could play football instead of basketball, and you could rough him up and knock him down. Their motto was, don't let him launch. Once he goes up in the air with the basketball, you're done. It's over. Just keep him on the floor.
Nets motto was anybody else other than Dame. So we're going to put the ball in Garrett Trent Jr. hand. CJ, do what you need to do. Nurkic, Melo, Zach Collins, anybody other than Dame. So they started trapping him. And the first clean look he got, so he dribbles one pass because the rookie's falling asleep because he's telling Temple, is that, man, I got 2 guys. He says, I don't care. If Dame has the ball, he's going to shoot it. So he's the most important, not these other 2 guys. Don't worry about them. Worry about Dame. The last 4 minutes, Skip, and that's the thing that what I try to, when we talk about receivers, you have to understand that you can add value other than catching passes, other than catching touchdowns. Sometimes you can block. And that's important. And what Dame did, he realized, you know what? I might not score, but let me facilitate the offense. Let me get Garrett Trent a clean look. Let me get Carmelo a clean look. Let me get Nurkic a layup. He did that, Skip. How you find fault. And what transpired, he goes 13 of 22. 13 of 22. Really?
Help me out. How many field goals did he score in the last 7-12 of a shootout? Help me out. Just help me out. I'm just asking a question.
See, that's ridiculous.
Did I fabricate that? Did I exaggerate that? Did I make it up?
But see,
you're acting like I made that up.
No, you didn't. But let me ask you a question. When Malcolm Butler made that pick, what role did Tom Brady play in that? But you give Tom Brady credit.
What does that mean? Tom Brady can't play defense.
Skip.
They don't go both ways in football anymore.
My point
they used to.
My point is that you always find, look, I can go back in history of the time.
I started this off. My soliloquy began with, you have proclaimed him a superstar. You gave him an A with 50 pluses.
Yes.
You said special. You said spectacular. And all I know is the game I watched, he went 7 minutes and 12 seconds making 3 free throws he did not deserve. That's what I saw.
No. Hold on. He deserved them. He deserved them. He got fouled.
No, he didn't get fouled. That's just silly. That's just like...
Did they call a foul, Skip?
Yeah, well, come on.
Okay.
Even you would agree that's as ticky-tack as you can get. From behind, barely touching him from behind because you're trying to pull up so you don't touch him at all.
Well, don't get close because you know Dame is great at drawing those. He gets a lot of 4-point plays because what he'll do, he'll stop his dribble, let you run into him, and launch the ball, end up making it, or he's going to get 3 free throw attempts.
Okay.
But, Skip, he did other things other than score
Sure.
that aided this win.
Okay, I don't know that they were superstar things, but they were good things. I agree with you.
So let me ask you a question. When Magic Johnson assists, he's a superstar, right? It might be just a layoff to Kareem to throw the sky hook. But you now all of a sudden, it's got to be superstars. It's got to be behind his back, between his legs, bounce the ball off his head.
Was Magic the best three-point shooter in basketball? Was Magic shooting from the logo?
No. So are you saying Dame? So are you saying Dame?
I mean, Magic came into the league with no jump shot. He's got like he sort of worked on a set shot from three.
You got to have a little push shot at that. But Skip, here's the thing, and I don't want people to try to confuse. I'm not trying to say Dame is the equivalent of Michael Jordan, but all I'm saying, if we're measuring, can we use the same measure? Can we use the same ruler? That's all I'm asking. If we measure, if a foot's a foot, let it be a foot.
Okay.
If 2 feet, 2 feet, let it be that.
I'm just measuring by superstar standards, and I gave him a B+, which is still a very good grade.
Skip, they won the game because of the 42. If Dame Lillard does not go bonkers again, are they winning that game?
Probably not, because he's mostly their whole show. So but they were very fortunate. They got big contributions from Trent Jr. and CJ down the stretch. And they tried to push the Melo button one last time because he's made a lot of big shots for this team, and he's going to have to make a lot of more shots against LeBron, one of his closest
That three
friends.
was huge.
Okay.
That was his first three. So, that was his only three.
By the way, I think we have this, but with 24 seconds left, he got the chance to shoot the dagger. This would have been the knockdown, drag-out dagger. Do we have this play? Here's the play. Whoops, that's not the right one. We're almost there. Whoops, I don't know what that is. Okay, here we go. So Dame drives and kicks it to Melo. And, you know, silly me, I thought that the superstar, I think he went LeBron on that play because I thought he could have just gone straight up and gotten fouled. Is there a better free throw shooter than Damian Lillard?
Skip. He got 6'10". Jared Allen, who's one of the best shot blockers.
You just got the worst ticky-tack foul call you'll ever see. Just drive it.
Skip.
Just go right into it. Just go to the free throw line.
Hold on. Here's a guy that's 6 foot tall. You want him to go up over a guy that's in front of him. A 6'10" shot blocker is trailing him. Pass over a wide open Melo.
Could have pulled up and gone Karis LeVert and just shot a 5-footer and just swished it. Could have done that.
He should have just pulled up and shot. See, it's never going to be good enough. It's never going to be good enough.
You called him superstar.
Yes!
I'm grading by the hardest curve.
Okay, so
that's
let
what it is.
me ask you a question.
Yep.
Was Michael Jordan a superstar when he passed the ball to Steve Kerr? Yes or no?
Yeah, he was a super duper. He was the all-timer.
Why didn't he shoot that?
Because it was the last shot of the game, and he called it in the huddle. He said, it's no doubt that John Stockton's going to come to me, so I'm going to give you a wide-open 17-footer. Can you make that? I got you. Okay. Because he had toughened up Steve Kerr because he jacked him in the jaw in practice.
Carmelo had just hit a three. They tied the game.
Yep.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. When in the double nickel game in Madison Square Garden, when he passed the ball to Will Perdue, why didn't he shoot it?
I think it was Winnington, actually.
Bill Winnington, okay. Why didn't he shoot it? He had it going. He had a double nickel.
Was that a playoff game?
No. See,
was he wide open for a dunk?
Was this a playoff game?
Was this
a playoff game?
Did Melo have a wide open dunk? Help me out. Help me out.
Was this? Hold on. Did Steve Kerr dunk it? Did Steve Kerr dunk it or did he shoot it?
Steve Kerr is maybe the greatest free throw shooter who ever played, and he had basically a free throw line jump shot.
Skip. Hold on. You did it again.
I didn't do anything.
What do you mean?
I just spat facts across the table. You didn't have any comebacks.
What you did is that you keep moving it.
If a superstar gets that deep in the lane with the game on the line, and you can either pull up and shoot a 5-footer or probably get fouled because you're strong, man. You can go strong. He is built.
Melo has a wide
He's not
open
LeBron,
three.
but he's got freight train in his body.
Melo has a wide open three, and he just hit a three from that very spot.
Who would you rather shoot it at that point? Damian Lillard, the superstar, or the fading superstar who used to be Carmelo?
The thing that I like most about Dame and what I saw yesterday, he really didn't force anything. When they came with the trap, he gave it up. He trusted his teammates. When he got clean looks, he let it fly. I love that about him. He didn't get caught up in the moment and says, I'm just going to shoot everything. I'm going to shoot everything. That's not what he did. Skip, how you find fault in any of the last 3 games that Dame Lillard played.
I just detailed how I found fault.
I know you did.
And you just tried to dismiss it like I'm making it up.
You did.
I didn't make up anything.
You nitpicking.
Nope.
Nitpicking.
Nope. You can't nitpick a superstar.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can pick him to death if he doesn't do it.
Yes.
If he doesn't do
it.
Yeah.
I want you to have that energy when Tom Brady throws an interception. You don't say anything like that. You're like, oh, Tom Brady was great. 6 game-winning drives.
Well, that's pretty good in Super Bowls. You won 6 Super Bowls with 6 game-winning drives?
Game-winning
Game
drives.
over.
Hold on. What role did Vinatieri play? What role did Vinatieri play? Why would you leave it up to a kicker?
He did
Do
his
you want
job.
the ball in Tom Brady's hand or on the foot of Vinatieri?
It's the rule.
Exactly.
It's allowed.
It's the rule. You're allowed to pass the ball to a teammate.
Okay.
It's the rule. Glad you told me it's the rule because I had forgot.
No mercy.
LeBron finished this season with just under 1,700 points, making it the 17th straight season the King has had 1,500 or more points in a season. LeBron is only the 2nd player to ever do this, joining Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Both players did it in their first 17 seasons. So, Shannon, here's your guy. How impressive is this?
It's very impressive. It's a testament to how good how good and for how long LeBron has been good. Skip, he's still playing at a very high level. The Lakers played 71 games. Bron played in 67 of them. And the closest he came last year to having that streak broken, Skip, was last year when he only played 55 games. He ended up with 1,505 as far as points. But, Skip, I mean, to do what he's been doing is just he led the league in assists. No player has been at his age or that old to lead a major statistical category, which is points, rebound, or assists. And for him to be playing at this level and to think he has stepped off a cliff. How many guys would love to step off a cliff and average 25 points, 10 assists, and 8 and 7.5 rebounds a game? How many would like to step off that cliff? This year he tied for the 2nd fewest points he's ever scored in a season. Let that sink in. In year 17, it's the tie for the 2nd fewest, and he averaged 25. Oh, my goodness. And he stepped off a cliff. Man, where them cliffs at? Because there's going to be a lot of people want to step off those cliffs in year 17 if they're fortunate enough to make it to year 17.
Washed king.
Yeah, I can't tell. You saw it with his shirt unbuttoned, right? Washboard king. That's what they call it. You ought to be ashamed. You should be.
What? I didn't say a word.
Yeah, you go.
What am I ashamed of?
You should be ashamed that LeBron James ain't going nowhere, and you gonna be having gonna be having these battles for many years to come, at least for another 3. I got for at least for another 3, and he gonna get Kareem's record, and he gonna be first team All NBA. But Skip, this is I mean, how do you find fault with this? Number 1 seed in the West, the Western Conference, not the East. 25, 10, and 8. I'm running out of adjectives.
Really?
Yeah. Let me get this thesaurus over here. Go ahead and look up. I'm gonna look up some words I want to describe old goat.
I got lots of adjectives.
You a hater.
You ready?
That's what you got.
I think it's my turn. So I'm going to give you this quote-unquote record. It's an achievement to tie Kareem.
Right.
17 years of 1,500 plus.
Right.
It's amazing and extraordinary only for the durability and the longevity required to achieve it.
Right.
He is Iron Man. He had the one glitch last year with the pulled or torn groin or whatever it was, but that's the only glitch.
Right.
And he's been strong the whole year at age 35, obviously. He takes great care of himself, and I honor and admire that greatly. So this is a longevity achievement of just staying healthy enough, strong enough to do what you do.
Right.
You can roll out of bed, to me, and if you're going to play 80-ish games in a year, you're going to easily get 1,500 points. Those are not a lot of points. In fact, to me, by superstar standards, 1,500 points is pretty ordinary.
It is.
1,500.
But why have only 2 people done it then? So there's only been 2 superstars?
Well, it's just longevity because Kareem, at 7 feet 2 inches tall, wasn't a leaper, and he kept himself in superb condition because he knew how to eat. It was a different way of eating, but he found it early in his career, and he stayed slender the whole way.
Yep.
And he kept the weight, as opposed to Zion, off his knees.
We're going to talk about him a little later.
Okay, but the poor kid, he's got to get it. He's got to just get it, and he's got to lose it.
Yes.
Okay.
No, he ain't got to get it. He need to lose it.
He needs to lose it. I understand. But But Kareem was able to endure for 20 years because he could just stay healthy. He was so lithe. He was just so slender, and he could run all day and not put a lot of pressure and damage on his knees. Okay, so let's put in perspective, or to use Shannon Sharpe's word, let's provide context.
That's what I need.
For 1,500 points.
Yeah.
Let's go to the top, because you have proclaimed LeBron James the GOAT. You say he's better than Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the #2 guy in Chicago, right? Okay, so let's look at what happened in the 11 seasons Michael was in Chicago for the Bulls. 11 years he played there. In his rookie year, he scored the fewest points he scored in those 11 seasons. Predictably, he was just a rookie.
Right.
But those points were 2,313. So his worst season of scoring points in a season came in his first year, and it was still 2,313. Only one time in LeBron's whole career of 17 years has he ever eclipsed that number, 2,313, and that came way back in 06 when he scored his career high, 2,478. So he was only like 100 and plus points. He was just barely above Michael's worst point scoring season, which was in Chicago his rookie year, 11 years. So just for the record, every one of those full seasons in Chicago that he played, obviously he had a hiatus because it was forced and he was out for a couple. But the point was, in his full seasons in Chicago, Michael Jordan led the league in points scored every year. All 11 years, he led the whole league in points scored. I'm not talking about average, just points scored, okay? So his average points scored in those 11 seasons, 2,583. Wow, 2,583. And would you believe that his average was higher than LeBron's highest total for a season? So I'm trying to put 1,500 in perspective, because Jordan just obliterated 1,500. It wasn't even a thought to him. You feel like he scored 1,500 in the preseason. You know, like nobody really cared about 1,500 because he was scoring at such a high rate. So I can even go to Michael's final year when he was a shell of himself in Washington. And his final year in the league, he scored 1,640 points. So he scored 1,500 plus points in his final season after he'd taken 3 years off out of principle to take a stand for Phil Jackson being pushed out the back door by Jerry Krause. He said, I'm taking 3 years off. Now I'm going to go finish in Washington. And that final year, 1,640 points. So even that year was above 1,500 points. So 1,500 is not eyebrow raising, but I'll give you this. 17 straight years of 1,500 is all-time great.
So in other words, Michael Jordan played 14 seasons. Is that what you're telling me? So he played the 12 seasons because he came back midway through 95. So he played the 12 seasons.
It's 11 full in Chicago.
11 full, but I'm going to give him 12 because they credited him that season in 2 years, right? So that's 14 full seasons, correct. So LeBron has done this for 17 straight seasons. That's 3 more seasons than Michael played, right? If you, so help me, I'm not really good at math, Jenny, so maybe you can help me pull your calculator out right quick. So how can Michael...
Jenny's not here.
Oh, she's not here? Okay.
Jenny's not over here.
Okay, you got a phone?
She's way over there, and you're alone.
Okay, I'm alone. Okay.
You have no backup.
Okay, I got no
You
backup.
are on an island by yourself, and you are backpedaling, and it's okay.
No, okay.
We got time.
No,
we got time. In fact, if you want to unsocial distance and invite Jenny to come over and stand behind you,
that'd be great.
I got scratch paper because, you know, when I be doing multiple once we got past timetables, I wasn't good with math, so I'm going to try to scribble this down. So Michael Jordan played 14 seasons. LeBron James has played 17 seasons. Can you tell me and the people at home, how does Michael Jordan still have 1,200 more shots when he played through three fewer seasons?
Because he was a scorer like nobody's business.
Let that sink in.
Wait, let this sink in. Michael Jordan won 10 NBA scoring titles. LeBron's won 1.
How many assist titles? How many assist titles?
No, he still averaged a bunch of assists.
Do you realize?
He averaged 7 assists a game. If he had decided, he probably won 8 or 10.
So if LeBron James had decided to lead the league in scoring more than once, he would have. Because I'm going to use your argument. If LeBron James said, you know what, I want to lead the league in rebounding, he would have. If I'm using your theory. But I just want to know one thing, Skip. I mean, LeBron has never, ever not led his team in assists. Has Michael Jordan led his team in assists every single season?
I don't know. He averaged 7.
Let me answer that
Pretty
for you.
good.
No.
Pretty good.
LeBron James has led his team in scoring. This is the first year, in year 17, that he's not going to. So he's led his team in scoring more times more years than Michael Jordan actually played.
Yeah, but all I hear about LeBron is, I don't have enough help. So how could he not lead the team in scoring if he didn't have enough help? Nobody's going to challenge him for the scoring lead on the team.
Well, Skip, the thing is that Michael couldn't play with another guy that had an offensive skill set like his. That's why all the pieces around him fit. Scottie Pippen fit, Ron Harper, B.J. Armstrong, those big guys, they all fit because Michael needed the ball. We understand that. So I'm not trying to diminish Mike, but you got to, like you said, you got to provide context. Context. He was a scorer. LeBron can score, hence the 27-point career average. But LeBron could also rebound and facilitate, assist the ball better than Michael. He could do that. That's not up for debate. That's factual.
Well, he's a lot bigger.
What they got to do with anything?
Rebounding. LeBron James should have averaged 10 rebounds.
Well, let me ask you a question. Who was bigger, Michael Jordan or Russell Westbrook? Because Russ averaged more rebounds than Mike. So it can't be based on size. Basketball is not about size. When Dr. Naismith made the basket, invented the game.
Let's talk heart. Maybe LeBron should have had more heart.
Oh, that is hard. You gonna try to find a way to try to diminish my guy while trying to prop your guy up?
No.
Skip, I'm not trying to take anything from Mike. Mike played 14 seasons. In 11 of those seasons, he was spectacular. He was not Mike in D.C. As he was in Chicago. And give him credit. To his credit, he needed time to get back in Michael Jordan shape. So 95, we're going to throw that one out the window also. For 11 seasons, he was historically transcendent great. But my guy has been that for 17 years.
I'm going to put this back in context for you. To average 1,500 plus points a year for 17 is not a superstar achievement. It doesn't have anything to do with gift or skill.
Well, how many other guys have done it?
Well, I'm about to get to this. It's a longevity achievement. It's a durability achievement, period. End of
Kobe
story.
played 20 years.
Tim
Duncan played 19. So did Karl Malone.
Kobe was hurt a lot of those years.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
He got hurt at the end.
Yeah, the last 5-6 years, he was hurt every year.
The last, I'll give you the last 3 or 4.
Okay,
what about Tim Duncan?
What about him?
Was he any good? Did he do that?
Do what, 1,500 points? Well, he played on a team where they spread the wealth.
So now that's the team.
Well,
so even though LeBron James is average,
was Tim Duncan the first scoring option for that team? No.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, stop it.
There were years that Parker and Ginobili were the first option.
No. There were years that as Tim probably got to year 15, 16, he wasn't the leading scorer. But his first 15 years, Tim Duncan was the number 1 option. He's the number 1 option and the number 2 option. So stop this, Skip. Why you just can't just say, you know what, Shannon? Your boy did it. Your boy, hey, that's a heck of a...
I'm not going to let you off the hook that easily because you deserve to be on the hook for gloating about this.
What am I gloating about?
My man's special. You deserve this because you actually had the audacity, the blasphemy to proclaim your man the GOAT. You call him GOAT James.
Okay. Why isn't there someone else in that picture? If it was so easy to do, there was Elgin Bayless. There have been a lot of great scores. Why I only see 2 people in that picture?
Well, there would be a third man if the commissioner hadn't said, you need to go home. You need to go play baseball for a couple of years.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, interesting. Sorry, Shannon, I couldn't help you with the math there. First of all, I am not good at math. You don't want my help either way. That is why I do what I do. I want to move on, guys, to some drama, some shots fired between NFL coaches, because yesterday, Jets defensive coordinator Greg Williams told reporters that safety Jamal Adams, quote, might get bored over there while playing in Seattle's Cover 3 defense scheme. Hours later, during a radio interview, Pete Carroll was asked about Williams' comments and replied with, quote, we don't make as many mistakes as he does. Carroll did follow up his comment, telling Williams to fire back so they could, quote, have some fun with this. So, Shannon, do you like Carroll's response here?
No. Because Pete Carroll can't call out coaches for talking about making mistakes when he made the biggest mistake in Super Bowl history.
What was that?
Because he refused to give the ball to beast mode and then let his quarterback throw the ball. That was the mistake he made. It wasn't on defense, it was on offense. But Pete Carroll happened to be at the helm. But Skip, Greg Williams is absolutely correct. Pete Carroll's defense, this is what Pete Carroll played. They play single high safety, and what we called it when I was playing, they used to call it lurk coverage, but they call it robber now. They would drop the safety down. Cam Chancellor was the guy.
I call it cover 3.
But it's single high safety. You drop the safety down, and he's looking to pick off shallow crosses and in-breaking routes. That's what he does. That's what they do. They line up in it. They don't disguise it.
Nope.
They say, we better than you. We going to do what we do. Come beat us.
Agreed.
That worked when you had Sharpe on one side and Brandon Browner on the other side being physical. You had young Cam. You had KJ. You had Bobby Wagner. When you had those dogs back there, you had Averill and Bennett. You had guys that can go get it. You can line up, Skip, and go get people. But you're not like that now. So when you look at what Jamal did when he was in New York, they line him up at free. They line him up at strong. They put him in the slot. They line him up at linebacker. They put him at the edge. They played him in so many different ways. So, Skip, if a guy is that productive, playing that way, if you don't use him in the way that the team that you got him from used him, and why you fell in love with him, you're going to be disappointed, and it's going to look like he's not the same guy. So you have to use him it's like Von Miller. Von Miller rushes the quarterback. Skip it, but if you're dropping him in pass coverage 25% of the time, you're not going to get the benefit of what Von Miller is really about. So the question is, Pete Carroll, are you going to break away Ken Norton Jr., defensive coordinator? Are you going to break away from lining up in the single high safety, playing this coverage, or are you going to allow Jamal Adams to be Jamal Adams and what made him one of the better safeties in the league? I believe, Skip, that's what Greg was getting at. He says he's going to be bored if you just say, okay, cover one, alert, break. If you just do that, Skip, he's going to get bored because he's so used to being all over the field. And so now you confine him to one area. It's like a kid, Skip. If you notice, you put kids in timeout, they go crazy because they can't move. But if you let them run, they go in the living room, they go in the kitchen, they go running upstairs. They having fun. And I believe that's what Greg Williams was getting at.
You done?
I'm done.
Okay. So let's start with Greg Williams.
Yes.
Just for those who haven't followed him closely, he is the modern-day Buddy Ryan, and you came up through part of the Buddy Ryan era.
I did.
There's never been anything like him.
Nope.
Curmudgeon, trash talker. He delighted he wanted his defense, especially that 85 Bears defense, to play with supreme edge, and he was going to speak to the media with supreme edge. And
they went to knock people out in 85, Skip. You can't do that now, but they went to hurt people.
And he went to hurt people when he spoke to the media because he did not care. He would spit sarcastic truth, but it would be truth, and it would be the disrespectful truth because he didn't care. It was always with sarcasm, dismissal. He would just dismiss people with sarcasm, but there was always truth to what he was saying.
And he put a bounty on your kicker's head.
He put a bounty on my kicker's head, and my team was basically an expansion team in 1989, and he didn't care. He's going to disrespect. He was in the head coach at Philadelphia. Okay, so this is a chip off that block in Greg Williams, and I have high regard for how he can motivate and coach a defense because every time, I don't care where he is, going back to Bounty Bowl in New Orleans, they are going to come and get you, and they're going to come from everywhere and get you, and it's going to be disguised, and it's going to be deception. And before the snap, they're going everywhere, and every play is a different sort of maneuver in the secondary. It's a different disguise. So I respect all that, but you have to just accept who he is because he's going to do this. And remember, he was just asked a question about the Jets safeties. How are you going to play your safeties without Jamal now? And you know what he did? He took the opportunity and he went into, well, he's going to get bored. You know, and it wasn't, nobody asked him a question about Jamal. He volunteered it because he wanted to take that shot.
Of course.
Okay, so now we're back to Pete Carroll. This is my take on Pete Carroll. His initials are PC, which also stand for players coach, right? He is the ultimate players coach, and because he has a new toy, so to speak, he's got Jamal, who can be a little hot-headed and you know, he can be a little thin-skinned, especially on social. And I think Pete then said, it's now my responsibility, because he was on a Seattle radio station, It's now my responsibility to defend him. I don't think Pete loved defending him because he said he kind of did it with a disqualifier, because when he was asked the question about it, he said, well, let's just pass it back to him. We don't make as many mistakes as he does. Let's let him have a chance to come back. We might as well do something coast to coast. That'll be fun. He was disqualifying, saying, I know what I'm getting into.
Right.
And I'm getting into, if I can paraphrase the old expression, a hissing match with a skunk.
Right.
I won't say it the way it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's how he's saying,
exactly.
Okay, I know what I'm doing. I just think he felt a responsibility for his new high-priced free agent to defend him.
And plus the thing is that Greg Williams basically said your defense is boring.
Yeah.
Because all you do is line up, play one coverage, and that's it. He said guys want to be challenged. Guys want to do different things. So
okay, but he's correct. Greg Williams' defenses will make more mistakes,
yes,
but they also make a lot of plays.
Right.
But when you're going to disguise that much and deceive that much,
yes,
and there are going to be so many moving parts,
right.
If one guy goes wrong one way, one moment, it's over.
Play.
You're going to give up a home run.
And that's what happened. You skip with it last year with Odell Beckham.
You got it.
He hit him, and
gone.
One guy was in the wrong spot, and Odell
and Greg Williams is pulling off his headset and throwing it in the ground. Like he knew exactly who went where
and
wrong.
That's what happens.
Okay. So now we're back to your contention that he can't talk about anybody else making mistakes.
Right.
Because he made one. I still don't understand how that was a mistake by Pete Carroll. If we can revisit that Super Bowl at the end one more time, the Brady comeback Super Bowl.
Easy. Beast mode was housing. And the thing is, in that situation, and I know Marshawn had been stopped on 4 or 5 occasions during the regular season.
Well, let's just get it right. He had 5 cracks during the regular season from the 1-yard line. He made the yard and scored a touchdown 1 time out of 5.
Okay.
So you can't tell me that Pete Carroll and Darrell Bevell don't know the numbers, the analytics of it.
How many of those was on the 1st and goal in the Super Bowl?
Well, obviously none of them.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's a whole different animal.
Okay. What did they feel at that point? They thought Russell was hotter than Beast Mode was.
He wasn't, though.
Okay.
Because Beast Mode had just run it down there to the 1-yard line, remember?
Okay, I got it, but it was 24-14 Seattle going to the 4th quarter.
Right.
And then Tom Brady happened to throw for 138 in the 4th quarter against the Legion of Boom. You say they were beat up. And
they were.
Whatever, but it was still the Legion of Boom, and he threw for 138.
Okay.
So the point is, they decided, let's keep the ball in our quarterback's hands, and they called a play that they thought had been highly successful through the year. It's Ricardo Lockett, who is their possession receiver, because he's bigger. He's 6'2", I don't know, maybe 2'5", 210, somewhere in there. And let's run this little route on the goal line where he's going to be able to shield or wall off or sort of, screen off whoever's behind him. And it's just 1 yard for a touchdown, right? The pass to me was on the money, but Malcolm Butler made the greatest break on a football I have ever seen. He came from literally nowhere.
Because what happens, Skip, is that when you run that play, you want the guy to be off. So that way you can get some running and you can have the guy to have leverage. Once Brandon Browner was in a press position, you need to call that off and go sprint option, where now all of a sudden Lockett stutters and he goes to the flat. The play that Clemson ran to beat Alabama for the game-winning touchdown. That's the play you run when you get pressed on the inside, because now you can use the outside guy. It's also the play that the 49ers ran against your Cowboys, but they ran the circle in the back of the end zone to Dwight Clark. That's the play that you run, Skip. Once he got press coverage, Brandon Browner was in a press coverage in the slot, that play is done, because Brandon Browner's going to jack you up, and there's not going to be any clutter, so Malcolm Butler can just drive without having to bow over the top. It was there.
He did not hesitate.
He did not.
And it was almost Houdini-esque how he got his hands somehow inside and caught the football. It's one thing to break the play up because they're going to get another shot. But he snatched the football.
People don't realize, because, Skip, you got to realize how close they are and how fast the ball is coming. So for him to make that catch, because you got to realize now, that's why it's so difficult. I mean, receivers are used to getting their head around and catching the football. DBs, a lot of times the ball get up on them so quick and they drop it. He's driving on the ball.
And I do have to give Belichick props for this. They knew Seattle loved that play, so they had practiced it, and they had even practiced it with the backup corner, who was undrafted out of West Alabama,
Yes.
a rookie named Malcolm Butler, had actually practiced against that play and knew exactly what to do and how quickly to do it. He did not hesitate.
You see that formation, Skip? Now, if they got an option off of it, you beat. But Coach Belichick says when we see them in this formation, they're trying to run the under route with the outside receiver. You drive. If he options back away, we can live with it. Because that's the same. Remember, Julian Edelman ran that play against them, Skip.
He did.
Earlier to get the game-winning touchdown.
To me, Shannon Sharpe still catches that pass because you have to fight for it, because you have to realize he's breaking on the ball. Ricardo Lockett didn't fight hard enough for the football.
Skip,
for a moment, it was his football.
I don't think he thought the guy was going to be there because when they run it in the regular season, he's been wide open. Nobody has ever driven that quickly because they've been back off, and so he gets an opportunity. Got to run the ball. I catch the ball, fall in the end zone. No, you should have ran that. Get that ball to beast mode. Now you're two-time Super Bowl champ. They never recovered. They were never the same after that play.
No, I don't have any problem with that.
Of course you would have no problem with it. I ain't got no problem with Philly.
Tom Brady won the Super Bowl.
I ain't got no problem with Philly.
Yeah.
And old Nick Foles, old Nicky Foles.
Really? We're going to bring it full? Okay.
No mercy.
Thanks to the third straight game of 40-plus points from Damian Lillard, the Blazers locked up the 8th seed last night. Portland will now face Ja Morant and the Grizzlies in a play-in matchup to advance and face the top-seeded Lakers. As the 8th seed, the Blazers will only need to win once against the Grizzlies, while Memphis would need 2 wins in a row to take down Portland. And according to Fox Bet, the Grizzlies enter the weekend as significant underdogs. So, Shannon, what shot do you give Memphis?
Skip, I believe they can get a game.
You do?
I don't believe they can beat them twice. Now, I would feel more comfortable if Jaren Jackson, the talented second-year player, if he was still there. But they got great production yesterday. I'm looking at Valanciunas. They had 2 guys with triple-doubles. Valanciunas had a 36, 19, and 12 triple.
What?
Yeah, 36, 19, and 12 triple.
That's like a Jokic game.
Yes.
No, there was no Giannis. Obviously.
Right. And Ja had a triple-double where he had 12, 13, and 10. So, Skip, that talent, and Brooks, I think, had a monster. They had 31 points.
He did.
Skip, I believe they could possibly win a game. But the way Dame's playing, Skip, dude's having 51 in his last 3 games. It's going to take a Herculean effort. And Ja hadn't shot the ball well the last 3 games. He's going to have to shoot 50+%. Now, the thing that gives me hope, that gives me reason to believe that Memphis could win this game, is because Portland is abandoned defense. They say our offense is our defense. What we're going to try to do, Skip, is get to 130. Try to get to 130, 140. Can you get to that? Because we can. We believe we can. We believe we can get Dame going to get us 40. CJ will give us 20. Melo will chip in with 15. Nurkic will give us a couple of points. Trent Jr. can give us somewhere between 15 and 20. We believe we can get to 130. Can you do that? Because if you can't beat us. And that's the way they play. And so, can they win a game? I'm going to say there's a 35% they'll win game 1.
Really?
35%.
But you're not predicting it.
No.
Okay.
No.
So Terry Stotts was caught on tape in the locker room after the game last night, and he said, we're finishing it off on Saturday.
Yeah.
That game tips at 2:30 Eastern time. Okay? That sounds like a guaranteed. Almost, you know, that sounds like this is it, and that will get back to these fairly young.
Memphis had their opportunity to skip the first, with the first or the second game. They had them down, and they let them get back in the ball game. Because if they win that game, they're playing Phoenix with an opportunity to be the 8th seed, and they win 1 game, and they're in the playoffs.
Okay, so Memphis has 1 chance and 1 chance only. Dame has not been Dame Dollar against them this year. In the 2 games, one was in Memphis, obviously, and then they had the very first game out of the box on July 31st, the restart in the bubble. And at Memphis, Damian just scored 20, and he was 2 of 7 from 3, which is not his MO. That's not what usually happens. In the July 31st game, which went all the way to overtime, and the final score was 140 to 135. To your point, that's how they're going to play. In that game, he went 2 of 9 from 3. So he's 2 of 7 and 2 of 9. That cannot happen, or they're going to get in trouble on Saturday. He can't go for 2 for 9.
Nah.
And in the fourth quarter of that game, and remember, they were down 9 with 5:56 left, and they roared back. But he was not the driving force that night. I don't even know. It might have been a day game for all I know. I can't remember. But the point was, in the fourth quarter of that game, Damian, who became the bubble MVP, obviously, went 1 for 4 and 0 for 2 from 3.
Right.
He was not the guy that night or whatever day. But who was? Carmelo went crazy. Carmelo hit 2 huge threes down the stretch at 1:23 and 37.5 seconds left. He made threes in what was a shootout to the wire.
Right.
And then Brandon Clark, who's still healthy, so they got him, and he plays well against them. He made a big bucket with, I think, 32 seconds left that tied it and sent it to overtime.
Right.
And then what happened in overtime? It wasn't Dame who happened in overtime. It was CJ came right out of the blocks and hit a big 3 with 4:26 left. And then Gary Trent Jr. came right on his heels a possession later and made another big 3, and they went up 6, and they never looked back. And they won easily, like just cruised on the lead in the overtime to win by 5, 140 to 135.
Right.
My point is, all these games are huge opportunities for Damian Lillard. This is another huge opportunity. He's the one. He's look, especially in this game, and again, I love Ja, and you love him a lot, but he's not ready to outplay Damian Lillard in a game of this magnitude.
He's Skip. He's not the point guards of today, especially the ones that can give it to you offensively. They're not defensive stoppers.
No.
And so these guys, it's no, and that's the thing what the NBA is. It's a superstar league. No one player can stop any other one player. They're just too good. Steph's not stopping Dame. Dame's not stopping Steph. Nobody's stopping Harden.
When they're on, they only stop themselves.
Exactly.
If they're cold,
you just hope that. Oh yeah, he missed that one. He missed that one. And even if they get the looks, get to the spot, and with Dame, the way he's been playing the last 4 or 5 games, Skip, even that what you think is a bad shot is the shot that he wants to take that looks great to him. He takes one dribble past half court. Skip, guys, when you were covering the game and I was growing up, guys only shot shots like that in the possessions, in the quarters. That was it.
Really, just in the quarter.
Yeah.
You would hate to take that shot at the end of a possession.
You know what I'm saying, Skip?
You just like a loose ball.
Right, you just heave it up.
Right.
Now here's Dame walking the ball up. He's probably got 15, 16 seconds on the shot clock. And he lets it go and doesn't think twice. And when he shoots it...
By the way, Steph really started that.
Yes.
Yes.
And then and he shoots the ball, Skip, and he starts backpedaling because he's almost like, I know this good. I ain't running to try to... Because a lot of times, they shoot the ball, Skip. They run like the ball's going to carry him here, carry him there, and they're going to go retrieve it. He shoots the ball and starts backing up.
Yep. He has effortless deep range.
He does.
It is highly impressive because... He shoots it more effortlessly from distance than Steph does.
Yeah.
Steph has to sort of oomph it a little bit. He needs to get his legs in.
And the thing is, Skip, is that all these guys are shooting these shots like they shoot a 20-footer. And they're 35, they're 40 feet away from the basket. I mean, James Harden is shooting step back from the timeline. I'm like, when did this... So it just goes to show you. I'm going to give him a 35% chance that if they get great production... Because, like I said, Valanciunas, that's going to be a matchup between him and Nurkic. Nurkic has got to stay out of foul trouble, though, Skip. But the thing that helped them last night is Hassan Whiteside came in and gave them tremendous minutes. He gave them great second-chance points. He blocked some shots because there are situations where they got the ball and tried to go back up, and he swatted it away. So he gave them 19 points off the bench because Nurkic was in foul trouble. Carmelo was in foul trouble. But I just don't think Memphis has enough firepower. I don't want to sell them short. Because I didn't think they would make it because I thought they were dead to right because they had lost like 3 or 4 games in a row, Skip. And I was like, there's no way they're going to hold on. It's sad that Phoenix goes 8-0. They should have had 2 play-in games. Okay, the 2 9 seeds, y'all play each other, winner take all, and then for an opportunity to play the 8 seed. So actually, Memphis and Phoenix should have played for the right to go play in Portland.
Phoenix is better than Memphis.
I believe so,
Memphis is still dangerous because Memphis had a phenomenal year that nobody saw coming.
No.
And even without Jaren Jackson, there are enough pieces left that they've had success, they've tasted success, and they were in the play, they were the playoff team all year long. They hung right in there at the 8 seed. So all the pressure tomorrow will be on Portland to me because people will think it's a foregone conclusion they're going to win this game. And if they don't, if somehow
you want to end it. You want to end it, Skip. You don't want to be dilly-dallying around. If I get an opportunity to go ahead and kill a snake, I'm not going to dilly-dally around with him. I'm going to go ahead and chop his head off and be done with it. And that's what Portland needs to do with this team. Because you run, the longer you go, anything can happen. A bounce here, bounce there, a sprained ankle here, somebody collides heads. And no. If you get an opportunity to end it tomorrow, you end this thing and get ready for the Lakers. I think they play on Monday? Tuesday, okay. Yeah.
You need to end it because you need the rest.
Because, Skip, you look at the minutes Dame's played. He played another, 43, 44 minutes. He's averaging about 42 minutes a night.
Yeah.
So he needs some rest.
Yeah, but not tomorrow he doesn't.
No.
It's got to be Dame time.
Look for him to play another 40-plus minute ball game. Now, because for the most part, Skip, we haven't seen a whole lot of blowouts. I mean, especially when the teams are playing their rosters. Obviously, sometimes teams go to the second unit early in the ball game and the starters will be done. But all these games have really starters have had to play major minutes.
The bubble has been a spectacular success.
It has.
It's just been
phenomenal. Well, get used to it, because it might be a bubble starting in December next year.
No mercy. Damian Lillard continued to put the Blazers on his back last night as Portland locked up the 8th seed and a spot in the play-in matchup with a 1-point win over the Nets. Dame had a game-high 42 points, 12 assists, and went 8 of 14 from beyond the arc, including a pull-up three from nearly half court. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard is joining us this morning. Chris, good to have you. Dame making things interesting for us on Undisputed. Could you please give us a letter grade for his performance?
A+.
Yeah.
I know Skip Bayless is going to find a way to whittle it down to a C+ or a B or something like that. So I'm saying it with my chest. A+. And some people might say, how you get an A+ when you don't play any defense? And I'll give it to you. Neither Dame nor the Blazers plays a lick of defense. However, when it was crunch time, when the money was on the line, Dame defended. He had 2 steals in the fourth quarter, and with 1:12 left, he picked the pocket of Karis LeVert, who was almost as hot as Dame. That set up what turned out to be the game-sealing jump shot by C.J. McCollum. Case was closed after that. Damian was tremendous. 12 points, 4 assists, those 2 steals in the fourth quarter, and he carried them early in the fourth. When it really looked like Gary Trent Jr., the spotlight was too bright for him. When C.J. McCollum, who really didn't hit a 3 all night, couldn't buy a bucket early in the fourth, Dame carried him with 3 3-pointers in a 3-minute stretch, including the 40-footer from the logo. And he was hitting threes. You saw the highlight over Joe Harris in the right corner. That's impossible to hit, and he does it. It was incredible. 8 of 14 from 3. 8 of 14 from 3. All right. The rest of the team's 5 of 25 from 3. So he didn't get much help last night. And then he throws in 12 assists just for good measure. A+.
Go ahead. No, you go.
I just need you to state for the court what you gave him.
I gave him A 50 plus.
50 pluses. Shannon Sharpe said A 50 pluses. And he capped it off with, he was so special. Okay, so Mr. Broussard, because you and my man across the table have proclaimed Damian Lillard a superstar. All caps, S-U-P-E-R, star. I then have to grade him by superstar curve and standards and measures, because that's the highest order, right? There are very few superstars. So you guys go A+. I'm going B+, because I didn't see him close the deal. And this is a little-known fact about last night's game, and maybe I'm the only one in the whole world who knows this fact, and now I'm going to divulge it on national TV. But would you believe that over the last 7 minutes and 12 seconds of that basketball game last night, and it was a game, it was a teeter-totter of a shootout game, back and forth and back. Can you top this? Can you do this? And 7 minutes and 12 seconds elapsed to end the game, and Damian Lillard managed to score all of 3 points, all 3 from the free throw line, 3 free throws he did not deserve. If we could see what happened with 3:19 left, that kid Luwawa Cabarro for the Nets, who I didn't know much about, but he had a game. Whew, he can play.
Hand on the back.
Yep. Okay,
hand on the back.
Hand on the back. It's a barely touch foul. Did he hit him on the hand? No. Did he hit him on the arm? No. Did he restrict his landing space when he came down? Absolutely not. He was behind him. He barely touched him in the back as Dame pulled up just to make sure that he didn't make body contact with him. It was a phantom foul. It was a superstar call. It was 3 gift free throws, and I just sat back and said, I guess he is a superstar because that's a James Harden-esque call. He got the 3 free throws, and to his credit, he makes his free throws unless maybe they're just 10 or 20 seconds left and he misses 2 against the Clippers. But we won't go there. We will not go there. We'll go here. Over the last 3:19, he doesn't score any points. So that's 3 undeserved free throws over 7 minutes and 12 seconds. Now let's look at what really did happen over the close of this game. And you said that Gary Trent Jr. sort of faded and the spotlight got too big for him. Man, with 2:29 left, he made a huge shot because he gave them a lead they would not relinquish. Gary Trent Jr. from the corner. Again, Dame fed him.
Yeah, nice. Okay, say that.
Okay, it's pretty nice. That's a pretty standard point guard pass. Wide open, kaboom, he made it. You got to give him credit for making a big shot in a moment he has not experienced in his career. And then let's see what happened with 1:19 left. Dame drives and tries to take a mid-range jumper, which he's not great at. It's usually not his bread and butter.
He's got good mid-range game.
That's fair, and there he is, and he misses that one pretty badly. But he redeems himself. To Chris's point, he does not quit on the play. He does not pout. He chases Caris LeVert, who's on his way to maybe tying the game, and just out-hustled him for the basketball. Caris LeVert dribbles too high to me, and he's like a wild dribbler, and he is stealable, and he pulled off a big steal there. But then what happens? Next possession, 53 seconds left. Did Dame close the deal? No, as Chris referred to, CJ stood for clutch jumper, and he manned up. He looked like that guy. He said, well, if you can't do it, Dame, I can do it. Swish. That should have been ball game, but it wasn't because Caris LeVert had one last chance. And for a team that plays no defense, I want everybody to watch C.J. McCollum's defense on Caris Unstoppable LeVert on that final possession. That was some shutdown, lockdown defense because Caris LeVert wants to get in the lane. He wants to get to 8 feet, 5 feet, 4 feet. That's where he can kill you, and he would not let him by. He forced him into a step-back, fall-away jump shot that he was not wanting to take, and he took it badly because he didn't shoot it with any conviction, and he missed it badly. And that was the ball game because CJ manned up and played defense for a team that does not play much.
CJ did a great job. He tried to swipe with the right hand, and then he contested the shot with his left hand. Give CJ credit.
Okay, but so final question.
Okay.
So you gave this man a 50-plus, and that man had scored 42 points to the 7-12 mark, and he scores 3 undeserved free throws the rest of the way? Really? And that's plus, that's 50 pluses? Chris, I don't get it.
Chris, you see what he did? Now, CJ made 1 basket in the entire 4th quarter. He had 4 points. He made 1 basket, shot 2 free throws.
Was that not the basket?
Whoa, Skip, just a second. I didn't interrupt you. I let you have your turn. I let you flow.
I would have let you go.
No. I wanted you to go because I wanted to go behind you. Now, they're down 7 points to start the 4th quarter. Dame scores 12, dishes out these assists. Because here's the thing, what you're starting to see, Chris, with Skip, is that the only way you can be a superstar if you score the basket. So these assists, these steals that he comes up with, they had no bearing. So even though they're down 7, he's looking at CJ save Dame's bacon, just like Kyrie saved LeBron, just like Ray Allen. And all these other guys, everybody saves their bacon. But what about there's no bacon to save? If I don't go out and make this money, who's bringing home the bacon for you to save it? You forgot that, Skip.
Okay, so you're 3 quarters and they're 4th quarter.
All of 3 quarters. The man had 12 points, 3 assists over the final 4 minutes. Melo 3, Nurkic layup, Gary Trent Jr. Now, remind you.
Wait, who had over the final 4 minutes?
Over final 4 minutes, he had 3 assists.
Oh, yeah, 3 assists.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
The Melo 3, the Nurkic layup.
Okay.
And he passed to Garrett Trent because he passed it at half court because the double team was coming to take the ball out of his hand.
Good pass.
Superstar?
Yes!
Superstar.
He is a point guard.
Huh.
He is supposed to get assists and pass the ball.
He is a scoring point guard.
But
how many point guards score 60 3 times?
But that's
He's both.
but here's the thing though, Chris. What makes him so unique is that he dropped 42, but he had 12 assists. He dropped 61, but he has 8 assists. So not only is he scoring, he's getting others involved also. Normally, there are some occasions, but rarely, a guy has that many points, but he also has 5, 6, 8, 10 assists. You look at those numbers that Dame is putting up, he's averaging 51 a game, and he's probably averaging double-digit assists. And the last 3 games they've won, a grand total of 7 points. So they need every point, every assist, every rebound that he's getting. They need that because, as you guys both said, they don't play defense. Their offense is their defense. Can you get to 140? Can you get to 135? Because we can, and we're going to see if you can match us. Skip, a 50-plus Dame. I'm thinking the Motown, Michael Jackson moonwalking in '83 at the Motown Music Award. I'm thinking that type of performance. What I
thought it was always Pavarotti at the Sydney Opera House.
Virtuoso.
And Skip,
Really?
here's the thing, and you're right. Eventually, Gary Trent settled down, and so did CJ. But I thought what happened is that when they saw Damian taking over, that relaxed them because they looked tight. They looked tight third quarter, early fourth. And then I thought Dame taking over relaxed them, and Trent hit the big shot, and, of course, CJ did as well. And here's the other thing. He did it against double teams. They were picking him up just about at half court.
Yes.
And a boxing one at times. I know they played that back in Oklahoma in high school, Skip. The old-time boxing one, which if you've ever been boxed up, it is a nightmare.
It's frustrating.
It's hard to just get the ball. Yes. So, I mean, his performance was spectacular on all fronts. And his assists were good. Remember the assist to Nurkic?
Yeah.
That 3/4 court pass to Nurkic for the lay-in?
Got it.
I mean, he was phenomenal. He was phenomenal.
There was this guy in Chicago named Jordan, and every game, everybody tried to take the ball out of his hands. Shannon Sharpe has been comparing Damian Lillard to Michael Jordan now for 3 days on this show. So I will too. Michael was never bothered by double teams, traps, boxing ones. They tried everything. He was a natural-born roll-out-of-bed scorer, and he would never go 7-12 of a fourth quarter without making a single basket.
He has.
Yes, he
Not
did.
in a game like this.
Yeah.
Not in a game of this magnitude.
6'6". Oh, no, when we saw The Last Dance, I can't recall exactly what. I saw Jordan miss a free throw or two late in the game. I was shocked. I didn't remember
7
that.
minutes and 12 seconds with no baskets?
You remember the Supersonics? He was 6 of 19, and they won their game.
Oh.
And Skip, you can't. I'm not with the just because the superstar didn't hit the game-winning shot or the last 2 or 3 buckets. He didn't play well. That we could bring up tape of Jordan, the GOAT, who passed off to Jim Paxson and passed off to John Paxson and passed off to Steve Kerr.
Had he scored over the last 7 minutes of the game? Yeah, a whole lot.
He did too. He scored 3 points.
Oh, yeah, he scored 3 undeserved cheap points.
Not undeserved.
Yeah, phantom points, gift points.
He got fouled. The guy's on his back. That's all there's to it. And it's tough to hit 3 straight free throws.
Yeah.
They trapping the man at half court.
Go right through it. Just dribble through it. They were trapping him with 2 big guys.
No, they weren't.
Yes,
They weren't trapping no big guys.
No mercy. The Blazers locked up the 8th seed last night and now need to win just 1 of 2 potential games against the Grizzlies in order to face the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs. Charles Barkley and Greg Anthony are both on record saying that if the Blazers made the playoffs, they would knock the Lakers out. Chris Broussard still with us. Chris, what shot do you give Portland in this series?
I don't know what Barkley and Greg Anthony are thinking. I'm standing by my percentage I gave them on Monday, I believe it was, 10%. They got a 10% chance of beating the Lakers. I think this goes 6 games. Dame will have 3 or 4 games where he shoots lights out. He'll win 2 games. He'll get him 2 of those games. But we talked about it earlier. The defense. I mean, I think I might be able to go out and get 7 or 8 points against the Blazers. They are horrible defensive.
I got you down for 2 or 3, Chris.
No, I second. I think he could make 7. He scores 7 or 8.
I mean, what are they going to do with LeBron? Even if they tried defensively, Melo, Gary Trent Jr., nobody can guard him, and then nobody can guard AD. AD averaged 32, 11 boards on 56% shooting against Portland in the regular season. So they're going to have their hands full. And I know the Lakers haven't shot the 3 well, but they're going to be wide open. So they're going to hit some threes. Some guys, Danny Green will have some nights where he's hot. KCP will have some nights. Dion Waiters will even hit a few. Quinn Cook. The Lakers will be fine offensively against this team. It'll be just what the doctor ordered for them because it'll get them their confidence up. They'll have to be fully engaged 100%, which will get them ready for the second round. 6 games. That's it. Portland, great job. Damian Lillard, MVP of the bubble. You guys look good, but you're going home in 2 weeks.
But, Chris, didn't you say 10% chance 2 days ago? You said it could go 6 or 7 games with a 10% chance of Portland winning. Right?
Yeah, I'm amending it to 6.
Okay, 6 games. So after
6
all
games.
that, I thought he was a superstar.
I'm going, hold on. I know a superstar that got swept twice. A superstar, Chris.
Anthony Davis.
But hey, Magic Johnson was a superstar. With Kareem. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about Kareem. I don't want to get too far off subject because that's what he tried to do. He got a lot of somebody else in him. He tried to distract. He very distracting, old Skip Bayless. Yeah, you. I'm talking about you.
Who's the somebody else?
Yeah, you. Yeah, I ain't gonna call his name, but you know he got a very prominent position. He hired.
Oh, that you compare me to that guy?
Yeah, with all your deflection, with all your misdirection, you magician.
Oh, that was the lowest blow you've ever delivered.
You know what, Skip? I told you from the beginning. I said I believe they can get 2 games. I do believe they can get 2 games. But if you noticed yesterday, we shot the 3 a little better, Skip, because we played another team that don't play in the defense, Sacramento. So they don't play the defense, and we were able to hit a couple of threes. And I believe, and I agree with you, Chris, I believe we'll be able to hit some of those threes that we've been wide open and they've been missing. And everybody keeps saying, they ain't got nobody to guard CJ. They can't guard that. Dang, well, who the hell gonna guard LeBron and AD? Y'all make it seem like all of a sudden y'all got some great defenders in Portland. You don't. So I'm gonna give you 2. I'm gonna be nice because I want the thing to play out because we've been, without basketball for such a long time. So we'll go 6. We'll let it go 6 just for you. But you keep talking crazy, Skip Bayless.
Crazy?
You talk crazy.
About what?
I'll make the phone call. You know, if I make the phone, call that bat phone. You know, if I call the bat phone, you know what happens.
Sweep? Maybe?
Gentleman sweep.
Gentleman sweep? 5 games?
If I don't want to call the bat phone, I don't want to bother the man while he's down in the bubble because he's getting ready to go into playoff mode, Skip. He going to a different level because he's been bull jiving. You know, we've been dilly-dallying around. But now we about to take this thing serious and about to turn it up a notch. We about to turn all the way up, So don't do it. I'm going to give you 6.
My man Shannon Sharpe has backed himself into some corner here because he has proclaimed Damian Lillard the second greatest player in the NBA to LeBron James. And here we go, because it looks like a collision course between these 2 superstars. Dame Dollar versus the King for all the marbles in the bubble. Here we go. What a great opportunity for Damian Lillard. So, to me, I've heard so much talk that Chris Broussard and Shannon Sharpe have finally beaten me down and convinced me he's a superstar. Well, I got to give him 3 games if he's that good. And they're a good basketball team. They do a lot of good things. Offensively, they're really good.
Yeah.
So my point is, the Lakers haven't been good. I saw some flashes. I thought LeBron actually looked pretty good yesterday because he needed it. He needed to feel good about himself going into next Tuesday night.
Hit a couple of threes, nice turnaround.
No, he did. It was good. And they got, they got Waiters going a little bit and JR going a little bit at the end of the game. They both had 20-something, right? Okay, so... But given that, offensively, the Lakers are at the bottom of the barrel of everybody in the bubble. So I don't know if the Lakers are really feeling great about themselves, and they are vulnerable. So now let's look at what happened when Damian played LeBron in the regular season. Well, the first two times were at Portland in Dame's house, December 6th and December 28th, fairly early. But the Lakers just stuck it on them. They just wiped them out at home. And it was 136-113 in the first game. And then the second game was a close game that the Lakers pulled away in the fourth quarter, 128-120. Damian at home did not play great. He went 2 of 8 from 3 in the first game, and he went 4 of 13, which is not terrible, but they needed him in the fourth quarter to just take it up and take it on and put it on him. In the fourth quarter, Damian, in the second game at home versus LeBron and company, in the fourth quarter, he went 0 for 2 from the field and 0 for 2, both of them from 3. Okay, that's not a superstar performance in a game that was winnable. So then what happened? Boy, he reversed field and got even back on Kobe night after Kobe had passed.
Friday.
LeBron started off the night with giving his eulogy.
Yep.
And then what happened? Damian happened. 48 happened. And he made 7 of 13 threes. Well, if he stays on path here off that game, he should have 4 or 5 of those games.
Well, but Skip, remember, he had played unbelievable leading up into that game. And he just kept it going from that game. Because I think he dropped 61 against Golden State on the 20th of January. So he had been building. And what we see now, he's building. You look at his last 3 games. You look at the last week in the bubble, and you see he's averaging 51 with about 10 assists. So he hasn't cooled off.
He's going to have to take over fourth quarters because I think we're going to see a lot of close games between these two teams. And right now, in the 3 fourth quarters he's played in the regular season against the Lakers, he's 0 for 5 from 3 in the fourth quarter. Not the end of the world, but I'm just saying, if he's your guy, if he's that guy, and now you got guy versus guy, he's going to have to come up bigger in the fourth quarter of these games because I think they will be winnable. And I'm going to remind everybody one more time, I believe he owes his team from the Western Conference Finals of last year because that wasn't Dame Lillard. That was damn Dame. Like, what are you doing? I'm sure Portland fans were saying, what happened? Who are you? Because, again, to remind everybody, they played 4 straight close games going to the fourth quarter against Golden State with no Kevin Durant. And what happened to Damian in those 4 fourth quarters plus an overtime? He went 8 for 26 from the field, 31%, and 5 for 17 from 3, which is 29%. They should have won a couple of those games, and they didn't. And even in the overtime, in Game 4, that they should have at least avoided the sweep in, he went 1 for 3 from the field and scored 2 points in overtime. It's just not good. If you're that guy, you have to take it over.
He was
I
hurt.
don't think he was
hurt. I think he was hurt.
He was not hurt.
Yep.
No, sorry. So it's time. You have an opportunity to right the wrong against the king.
So if it goes, Chris, so we get Skip on record. So if it goes 7 games and they lose, you okay? He's still a superstar, right?
Well, I got to see to believe. I want to see how's it going to shake out. How's it going to look?
Well,
I believe it should be a 7-game series.
If he takes them 6 and he's lights out, he averages 35 or something like that, and just doesn't get help or they just lose in 6, you won't give him superstar status.
I need to see him take over late and win a couple of games by himself where you said, he just took the game over.
Ain't nobody does that, Skip. Stop.
Nobody does that?
No.
What are you talking about?
Because even in the double nickel game, he passed it off to another guy and got the dunk. So stop this.
Do you know how many times? Do you know what he did to Utah in Game 6? Go check it out. He scored 45. The rest of the team scored 44.
Okay.
It was all Jordan all the time, all the way home. I just need to see one of those where down the stretch you say, Damian Lillard scored the last 10 points for the Trailblazers and they won by 2. I want to see one of those and I'll come in and say, way to go.
Well, Dame had 20. Dame had 20 of the 37. He contributed. Was that pretty good last night?
Last night?
Yeah.
In what?
And when they beat the Nets, they scored 37. He scored 12 by himself and had 3 assists, 2 threes and a layup by Nurkic that he got fouled on. So is that good?
Shootout. Last 7 minutes and 12 seconds. No baskets.
Chris, I can't.
What? Well,
Skip, you realize this is an AC. They're still an AC.
Thank you.
And to expect the AC that they have to take the number 1 seed 7 games,
okay,
they're
time out.
outmatched. period. It's
Timeout.
two superstars against one.
They got Nurkic back. He's playing at a high level. He's leading, I believe, the bubble in rebounding. They got Zach Collins back, and they have discovered Gary Trent Jr. in the bubble. And I don't think the lights will be too bright for him. I love it because his father played. I think he thinks he belongs. He shoots it like he means it. He doesn't look scared to me.
But he's streaky.
Well,
He's streaky. I mean,
there
there've been some stretches where he couldn't miss, and then there was a couple of games he couldn't make it.
So now Shannon Sharpe has to root against the guy he's proclaimed a superstar. Here we go.
I want him to
Love
do well.
it. Love it.
Skip, two things can be true.
Yeah.
Dame can be a superstar, and LeBron win the series.
You know what?
Yeah.
Two things can't be true. Portland and the Lakers can't win this series. So that won't work.
I didn't predict.
So what's your pick, Skip? Do you have a pick?
Yeah, I think the Lakers will win in 7 games. And I think Damian won't be good enough in the fourth quarter. Well, I just don't. I still haven't seen it. So he is yet this year in 3 games to hit a 3-point shot in the fourth quarter against the Lakers. I hope that changes.
Ain't nobody big time.
I don't know what Skip's waiting for here. He's been fun to watch, in my opinion. No mercy. Tonight on FS1, don't miss a huge doubleheader. The Rays and the Jays get things started at 6:30, and then at 9:30, it's a star-studded showdown in LA as Cody Bellinger and the Dodgers battle Mike Trout and the Angels. Catch all the action tonight on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. In year 17, LeBron accomplished something new for the first time. He led the league in assists with 10.2 assists per game. It was also the first time that LeBron ever averaged double digits in assists. So, Shannon, are you surprised he did this in year 17?
No, I'm not, and I think I predicted this. I said he would get to double digit in assists, Skip, because he was going to be primarily playing the point guard, not the point forward. And I don't know how they're going to list him on the All-NBA ballot, but Skip, I'm not surprised by this. I think what he's doing is that he's showing you what's possible later in your career if you take care of yourself, if you eat properly, you train properly, and you still love the game of basketball. He's still playing at an extremely high level. So to be able to do this, if I'm not mistaken, I think Steve Nash led the league in assists in year 15. But for LeBron to be playing at the level that he's playing at, averaging 25 points, over 10 assists a game, almost 8 rebounds a game, and got the #1 seed. He's going to be first or second in the MVP voting. He's going to be unanimous All-NBA first team for the 13th time, which will break his record of 12, which he already holds, which I think is going to be there for a minute. Yeah, you're going to be there for a minute, Skip. So, look, and I'm going to be shocked if he doesn't average double-digit assists again next year. I am not surprised, Skip, because I know how much effort this man puts into his game. I know how much the game of basketball means to him. And this is what is possible, just like Tom Brady. When you take care of yourself, when you eat like you're supposed to eat, and you still love the game, Skip. That's what it comes down to. He's not cheating the game. You can't cheat the game. Cheat the game, game cheats you. So he's putting it all in, and he's being rewarded for it. But am I surprised he led the league in assists? No. Am I surprised he got the double digits? No. It just goes to show you what's possible when you take care of yourself, you still love the game, and you play at a high level.
So I'm going to use a quote from LeBron to react to this, and that quote was uttered one night back in 2012 when he finally broke through against the Baby Thunder and won a championship. And live on national TV, he stood up and said, "It's about damn time." Do you remember that?
I do remember.
He finally won a championship. And to me, it's about damn time that he won an assist title. Because I have said consistently, you can check the tape, since I started on national TV, which ironically was concurrent with his starting in the NBA. Those are the years I've been on television. I have said from the start, he's the best passer in basketball. I've said that 1,000 times to you from across this desk. Because he is, and he still is. And I have always been shocked that he didn't lead the league in assists 3, 4, 5, 6 I don't know. If he'd led every year, it wouldn't have shocked me. And yet, the only other time he came close was in 2018. He was second to Russell Westbrook.
Right.
But other than that, this one this year and that one are his only 2 top 3 finishes in assists.
Right.
I don't get it, because he's so great at it that it seems like they would just come by just routine, where he's just so good that they would just pile up through a game.
Well, you have to understand, though, Skip, he's passing to shooters. Now, if he had AD, you're passing down low to big man. That's why Magic. That's why John Stockton. That's why some of the point guards, you're able to lead in assists because you're dumping it down to a big guy. So when you're dumping the ball to shooters, that's not they shooting threes. LeBron surrounded himself with shooters.
Magic and Stockton got a lot of their assists on break.
Yeah.
And especially Stockton Malone just terrorizing people.
Nobody's going to beat that combination.
But they're not going to stop Karl when he got up ahead of steam.
No.
But LeBron is about as big as I think they're about the same size, right? About 6'9".
Yes.
You know, maybe Karl's put together a little more.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got a little.
I think Karl might have been. Not much though, Skip.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, it is.
But when he got untracked, man, nobody wanted to get in his way.
Right.
Well, LeBron's teams don't run the break.
Correct.
And when they do, the finisher is usually
LeBron.
your guy.
Exactly.
Okay, so he can't assist himself,
Right.
but he just usually, if he gets a step on people, he is going to take it home and slam it because you can't stop him either.
Right.
But he can handle in ways. Karl needed somebody to set him up.
Yeah, yes.
All right. So the point is that from the start, I kept waiting for him to just take over the assist like for years on end, and he hasn't, because he did bounce it off with trying to score. But we've talked about Jordan versus LeBron. You say LeBron's better, and look at what Jordan could do. Like there was a year in 1989, Michael Jordan averaged 8 assists that year. That's just extraordinary.
Right.
And he won the scoring title.
Right.
How do you do that?
Right.
That's GOAT to me. That's where you can do two things at a very high level. Michael averaged for his career 5.3, it's 5.4 in Chicago. So he could just get it with his left hand. He could get 5 assists a game, which is still, by most people's standards, high.
Skip, but that's not an easy thing to do. Tiny Archibald, I remember one year he led the league in scoring with 30 and had double-digit assists. I think Russell Westbrook had maybe averaged 30 and had double-digit assists. It's not easy to get that many points because Jordan has a career 30-point average, and to dole out that many assists, because normally to score that many points, you're taking a lot of shots and you don't get assists on shots that you take. So for LeBron to be able to do what he does, and he's also was responsible for rebounding. If you look at LeBron, he's averaging a little over 7 rebounds a game. I think a little over 7 assists a game. But LeBron has been 8 assists high total for a number of years.
I think he should have been the point guard from the start. They've always been better. Cleveland was better when Kyrie went down in the overtime of game 1 and Kevin Love was already out. That I told you, that stretch of those next 2 to 3 games. That I've never seen him play better than that, but he just took the ball. He just said, I'm going to dribble up the court and I'm going to initiate.
Yeah, Skip, he had to take the air out of the ball, so to speak, the football term, because he knew he couldn't get into a running match with Golden State. But I think the thing is, Skip, is that LeBron really would like to play off the ball if it's somebody that he can trust to handle the ball. And I think that was the biggest thing. He had a couple of years of D. Wade, and he had a couple of years of Kyrie. But other than that, who could he really trust to handle the ball and to do what he was going to be able to do?
But the problem was he wanted to be Jordan. And
he didn't want to be Jordan.
Well, yes, he did.
No, he didn't want to be Jordan.
He co-opted 23. The powder.
Oh, man, stop it.
Well, he did. He just took it over. He borrowed those.
So who did Brady want to be? So who did he co-opt 12 from?
I don't know. Nobody.
Yeah, a lot of people had 12 before he had it.
Okay, so what?
Okay, then, so what?
It was clear that he wanted. He said, I got next. I'm the next Mike. Here I come. Right?
No, he didn't say that.
So he said, I got to play shooting guard, so I don't want to dribble the ball up the floor. And I think it hurt his teams because he's best at initiating.
Skip, Kobe was more like Mike than anybody, because they played the same position, they were about the same height, and they had a lot of the same intangibles, a lot of the same mentality. LeBron was always more Magic Johnson.
Okay, but Magic was always the point guard.
Right, but Magic couldn't score the ball on a consistent basis like LeBron could. Now, could he go? We saw what he did. We saw what he did as a true rookie.
He just didn't try to.
Right, we saw what he did. Plus, Skip, He had Kareem, and he had James Worthy.
Yep.
People just disregard James Worthy. James Worthy was a very good player.
Yep.
And so you get James Worthy filling the lane. You get Coop filling the lane. You get Byron Scott filling the lane. And when you rubber really needed to meet the role, you could dump the ball to Kareem, who had the most unstoppable shot ever created, the sky hook.
Yep.
So Magic was always going to be at on the top or near the top as far as assists.
Yep. Okay.
But
Finally did it.
Ain't no finally.
And it was time.
And we're going to do it again next year, year 18.
You're going to play again?
We're going to do it again. We're going to play the 20.
This is the last hurrah.
No.
Okay.
We're going to get that record, Kareem.
Really?
We're going to have 30-30. We're going to have 40-30, 40,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists.
Really?
Yeah. 40-10 team.
No mercy.
The Nets went 5-3 in the bubble, including wins against the Bucks and Clippers, despite not having Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving. They also took the Red Hot Blazers down to the wire last night in a 134-133 loss that came down to the last possession. So, Shannon, I start with you. After what you've seen from the Nets, should they be the favorites to win the East next season with KD and Kyrie back?
Skip, they can be special, but I just don't know how it's going to work. You got KD and Kyrie that's going to need the ball. Karis LeVert, we saw what he did, but that was out Kyrie, out KD, out Spencer Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie leaves the ball in his hand. And we saw when Kyrie went down, he was able to go for 50. But KD and Karis LeVert, they need the ball. Skip, I just don't know how see, these things all look together. Skip, I like ice cream. I like oxtails. I like gravy. I like bacon. I just don't like it all together. So I don't know how well these pieces are going to work together. Now, I do believe if you really wanted to, Skip, you probably can move Karis LeVert and get someone that's going to be more suited. Because when you look at it, you're like, man, look at B.I. Man, B.I. killer. He averaging 24 points a game. Imagine if the Lakers had that. But he can't do that with the Lakers, Skip, because you got LeBron need the ball and you got AD. So he was able to shine as the number one guy. We saw Karis LeVert, since he's been in the bubble, he's the number one guy. We see him shine. Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyrie goes down, we see him shine. Skip, I'm not so sure how all these pieces would work together. But you look at their roster, KD, Kyrie, LeVert, Dinwiddie, Allen, Jordan, Prince. Now, I believe they're going to lose Joe Harris. I believe they're going to lose Tyler Johnson. Joe Harris can play. Joe Harris going to make him on the open market scale because he can flat out shoot the three. He goes with a team that has a big and is going to kick. Joe Harris is a 15 to 19 point a night scorer. Kyrie's injury history, Skip. He's only played 70 games one time in the last 5 years. He only played 20 games this year. Can you count on Kyrie to be healthy? Bucks, Raptors are going to be tough again. If Giannis comes back, Sixers are going to only get better. I'm going to disregard it. The 76ers, Skip. Celtics will be better. 76ers, I don't know what they're going to do. But Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, they don't work together. I'm sorry, Skip, they just don't. They're unbelievable talents apart, but together they just don't work together for whatever reason. The Heat, I'm going to say if everybody comes back, let's say Giannis comes back to the Bucks, and everything goes, I believe the Bucks would be favored, but I would say the Nets would be number 2. But I just don't see, with all these ball-dominant players on one team, I just don't see how it works. It looks good on paper, Skip. Man, you see LeVert go off last night. He went head-to-head with Dame. Dinwiddie had a 50-point game. We know what KD is. We don't know explanation offered. Kyrie, we've seen him be special more times than not. But, Skip, how does all this work together?
All of these are great problems to have. And to me, after what I saw in the bubble, when I thought I was going to see next to nothing from this team because so many players opted out, to me, the East is about to be over. When KD and Kyrie join this group, depending on how it all figures back out, you have the best player on the planet in Kevin Durant. You have a true superstar guard, sort of scoring point guard.
He's more of a 2 than a point, but they list him as a point.
And to me, he is far more clutch than Dame is. That's just me. Well, I'm starting it. So you got those 2 nuclear pieces you're going to put into a team that had a bunch of players opt out, starting with Spencer Dinwiddie that you talked about.
Right.
He averaged 21 and 7 assists. What?
Yeah.
Torian Prince averaged 12 and 6. That's a nice piece to have.
Yes.
DeAndre Jordan, I know he's getting up there in years, but he averaged 8 points and 10 rebounds a game before he opted out.
Right.
Karis LeVert had games at Boston of 51, at Toronto 37, and he had 2 games of 34.
Had 37 last night.
That's what I'm saying. He is an explosive scorer, and I believe you could find a place for him with those other 2. They would have to figure it out, but there are going to be nights that they need a third wheel, and he can be a great third wheel.
Could he be a guy like you do like a Lou Williams and maybe bring him off the bench?
Maybe.
But I don't, Skip, after the success that he's had, and everybody's, Skip, you know when you start having success, you want to, if you're a little light, you want to shine a little brighter, Skip.
Okay, maybe. But Joe Harris, if they manage to keep him, he won the three-point contest, and a year ago, he led this league in three-point shooting at 47%. And you saw last night, when he's open, it's just going to go down.
And the thing is, he can take it up, Skip. And don't you run at him if you want to. He put it on the floor and get to the basket.
He showed me some up and unders.
You
and
saw
I'm like,
that? Yes,
whoa.
yes.
Way to go, Joe.
Yes.
Okay, and then Tyler Johnson, I don't know if he's going to be on the market again or what he wants, but he is a great piece off the bench because he's played at a high level this year. This league, he got that $50 million deal from Pat Riley. When he's open, you better look out because he is lefty draining from everywhere.
Skip, he was taking people off the dribble and shooting it. Ooh. He wasn't just sitting shooting set shot threes. He was taking it off the bounce.
And finally, this year, Jared Allen, who I like and respect because he plays so hard, he was 11 and 10, 11 points and 10 rebounds.
Yep.
So you had 2 10-rebound average big men.
Right.
Well, this is the pieces are in place.
See, they are. They are. But Skip, I'm going to be shocked if they bring up. Look, I'm just somebody's going to throw a boatload of money at Joe Harris. I don't see how he comes back. Tyler Johnson, I believe he'll go also. But Skip, I just don't know how you bring all these pieces. Skip, when you start having success, you want your own squad, or you want to go where you can be. If I'm not number 1, I can be number 2. Well, 2 and we already know who 1 and 2 are. That's KD and Kyrie. Okay, 3. Is it going to be Dinwiddie? Is it going to be LeVert? Skip, that's hard. That's hard because it's going to another situation. I believe Big Trez. Trez is going to leave. Somebody's going to throw a boatload of money at Trez.
They will.
And so, could you package Karis LeVert, Dinwiddie, maybe Allen for Bradley Beal?
Yeah, you could. I thought about that.
So
he might fit a little better.
I think that would be more of an option because a guy that can play off the ball because he plays off the ball with John Wall.
If you can fit all those salaries, but usually in the NBA you figure it out.
They figure it out.
Softer.
And when that guy got that kind of money, you go in the luxury cap to win a title.
Yep.
Because that's what the Golden State was doing. Normally most teams will go into the luxury tax hell to win titles, Skip.
Yep.
It was unbeknownst to me why your team, OKC, had 3 MVPs right up under their nose, didn't know it, and didn't want to go $4 million into the cap.
That's all. It's just a matter of being a little cheap, just being a little or a little too cost conscious, where you're trying to do it the right way, but no, you can't. You got to pay the freight.
What could have been?
No, what could have been. I agree. And do not underestimate the GM of this Brooklyn team, Sean Marks, because he's a chip off the R.C. Buford block. R.C. Buford is still the best general manager in basketball, and Sean Marks knows how to operate. And to your point you made earlier, Jacques Vaughn looked... He
looked good, Skip. He had him playing hard. They're 5-3 in the bubble.
Hard. Do I think that Ty Lue might be another level from Jacques? Probably so. If you're talking about going to win a championship next year,
more accomplished.
probably he would.
Yes.
Can he handle superstars maybe better than Jacques could? San Antonio product.
Well, he had LeBron.
He had.
If he can deal with LeBron, he can coach
agree.
LeBron. I believe he can coach Kyrie, KD. So, Skip, look, they got great pieces. No question about that. And if they were somehow able to make it work, yes. But I don't believe all these pieces will come back as we see them currently. I just don't. Now, if they do, yes, I would take the Nets to be as the favorite in the East. But I don't believe they can bring them all back.
KD versus LeBron next year in the finals.
Oh, we're gonna get us another piece, though.
Yeah, that
we're gonna get us another piece.
3 times he puts it on you.
We'll get another piece. We're gonna get us another piece.
No mercy. Friday Night SmackDown is all new every week on Fox. Tonight, the feud between Bray Wyatt and Universal Champ Braun Strowman continues. Plus, a battle royal to become the #1 contender for Bayley's SmackDown Women's Championship. SmackDown tonight. 8, 7 Central on Fox. As Dak Prescott looks ahead to this season, there is one area that he believes the Cowboys will improve on thanks to Mike McCarthy and the new coaching staff. Dak told The Athletic, quote, "I wouldn't say that we've been as smart as we've needed to be within the game of football. I think that's what these coaches have come and added." Shannon, he normally doesn't say much, but was this a shot at Jason Garrett?
Initially, I thought it was, Skip, and then I went back and read it, and I started thinking about what he's saying. Sometimes, Skip, it's not a shot about the offense or anything like that. But how many times did we see DeMarcus Lawrence jump outside on 3rd and 4? That's being smart, Skip.
Okay.
How many times we see a guy
on the defensive
side?
Okay.
How many times we get a pass interference, or we get a big play, we get a big pass play, and we get a holding? That's what coaches said. Dumb football players lose your game because you do things at the most inopportune of times. And that's where Coach Belichick prides himself when he says, I want smart players. I want players that don't do dumb things in the most inopportune of times. Jumping off sides when it's 3rd and 4 and giving the team a first down, that's a dumb play. That's not being smart. And so, Skip, I believe that's what Dak is talking about. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe that's what he's talking about. Now, in the West Coast system, having played in that system myself, they have a lot of checks. So you're going to have to be on top of your game, Skip, because there's a lot of things that you're going to have to, I don't know how, well, there's going to be no crowd though, so Skip, you'll be able to hear all the checks. You'll be on here all the checks, Skip.
Wait a second. Jerry said the fans are invited.
Skip, if 50,000 fans cause that big of a noise ordinance in an 85,000 square foot, 85-seat stadium, you need to be ashamed of yourself. But I don't believe everybody's going to have fans, so you should be able to hear the checks. So in that situation, Skip, I think that's what Dak's talking about. But before we anoint Mike McCarthy, he had 2 first ballot Hall of Famers that combined they've thrown almost 900 touchdowns. They've won 5 MVPs. So before we crown him Coach Lombardi, before we crown him Bill Walsh or Bill Belichick, can we see what he does without MVP quarterbacks? Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment, Skip? Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Although I think the Caesar Sportsbook has Dak Prescott as high as number 3 in this year's MVP odds.
Well, Brett Favre won 3 and Aaron Rodgers got 2. Okay. So I don't know how high they were at the time they won them. I just know they won them.
Okay, so I'm with you. When I first read this, I'm actually upside down from you, but when I first read it, I thought there's no way this could be a shot at Jason Garrett.
Right.
And the reason I put it in that perspective is, do you remember how Dak Prescott reacted when Jason was fired?
Right.
The first time he was publicly asked about it, he got tears in his eyes. He got a catch in his throat because he said, I wouldn't be here if not for Jason Garrett. Right. He said, he drafted me. Remember, they were the coaches at the Senior Bowl, and they had Dak, and they fell in love. And they fought for him, and he was an afterthought in the 4th round. But he says that Jason was the one who went to the mat for him. You have to take him. He's on the board now because we have a shot with him to go longer term with him. And when Dak showed what he showed in place of Romo early in that 2016 season, Jason fought Jerry over this. I think it might be the only time he ever stood up to Jerry and said, no, it's time. We got to cut bait here. We got to start fresh with this kid.
We can't go back to Skip. The guy at that point in time, I think Dak was 8-0. So how do you take a guy that's 8-0, that he hasn't cost us the game, he's one of the reasons we're winning the game, and go back to a guy? He said, you can't do that, Jerry.
And finally, even Tony Romo himself gave a concession speech one Tuesday. Remember, he just out of the blue said, I give up. He's too good. It was after the game they won at Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why they were so connected at the hip, it felt like, that Jason kept Dak propped up, even when he struggled in his second year. You know, Jason was always there for him, always had his back.
Even after the interceptions, you know, we go get him now.
Yeah. Then I see 2 big quotes here from this session that he did 2 days ago, Dak Prescott. First, about Mike McCarthy. He just raved about Mike McCarthy in ways that shocked me because it's too early to be raving this much because you haven't seen it. You haven't even really practiced yet, right?
They didn't even put the helmet and pads on yet.
They haven't gone out. They've just been walking through. They've been playing catch, basically, right?
Basically.
Okay. So he said of Mike McCarthy, he's a very, very genuine guy. Okay, what does that say about Coach Clapp? He wasn't. And he says about Mike McCarthy, when he got up in front of the team and when he walks around the building, you feel it. Okay? When he talks, you hear it. He's saying that he's more of a leader. He's so genuine like that. He's coming through in ways Jason never can. I told you this from day one. Jason Garrett's not a natural-born leader. There's a lot of phony baloney. He's vanilla speak.
Well, Skip, the thing is, the mistake that that the players knew is that Jerry controlled everything. Okay. And I think for the first time now, they believe Mike McCarthy is controlling things. Now that it always starts like that, Skip. But you know, at some point in time, it's gonna be Jerry gonna be out there 1, 2, 3 break. So he'll be in the middle of everything. But as of now, Jerry hasn't been around. Jerry has been MIA for 109 days prior to him
from the
speaking.
public. Right. But he's been behind the scenes. He's been there.
But I think the thing is, Skip, is that, look, when you win a championship, you do come with some credentials.
I'll buy that.
And so I think that has a lot to do with it. And when they look at Jason, he won the division, 3 times? But he doesn't have a Super Bowl on his resume. No. So, Skip, that's what he got. But that's all they talk about. Lombardi, Lombardi, Lombardi. And how and why he has one, he does have one. And so that carries weight. That's why Coach Belichick can say whatever. Coach Belichick said, we're going to practice at midnight tomorrow. Guys was like, hey, baby, I'm going to go sleep, take this nap, because we got practice tomorrow at midnight. When you got 6 Super Bowls or you have those titles, Skip, it gives you a certain cachet. Okay,
but again, the Jason Garrett I came to know covering him as the backup quarterback to Troy Aikman in Dallas through the 90s. That guy is plasticky. He's cliche-ridden. He's the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Right.
But it's wrong to lead America's team. There's no edge to him. There's no he inspires no fear in the locker room. Nobody's afraid of getting chewed out or demoted or publicly castigated.
Well, Skip, I'm going to see how many times, how long it's going to take before Jerry Jones emasculate Mike McCarthy, before he questions a call that he... Yeah! So we're going to find out, because he did that to Jason Garrett. He did that to Chan Gailey or Dave Campo. Let's see. He never did that to Parcells. He never did that to Jimmy J.
Okay, so then he goes back to how are they starting to play football under Mike McCarthy, and he goes into... He's giving all of us new knowledge, really. And we haven't played as smart as we should have. Well, I can't help but interpret that as a shot at the guy that he cried over. The guy who just a month ago, there was a report that Dak was still angry with Jerry for firing him.
Okay, well, so Jason Garrett was throwing those picks in Buffalo? Was he the one that throwing those picks in the Saints?
Not in Buffalo. It was on Thanksgiving.
No, I'm saying, but against Buffalo? So who's jumping outside? Who's getting those pass interference? Who's getting those face mask calls?
Look, Dak Prescott, this isn't his first rodeo in Dallas. He's been there for 4 years. He knows how the game is played. He knows how everything that comes out of his mouth will be dissected within Cowboy Nation. Well, these are pretty blatant anti-Jason Garrett quotes to me. After I slept on it, I just said, how can it not be? Well, so you didn't play smart under the former coaching staff?
They didn't.
Maybe it's shots at Rod Marinelli and Chris Richard.
But Dak bears some responsibility, too, because there are times that he didn't play smart. But we're going to see how long before Jerry Jones, the words that are coming out of Mike McCarthy's mouth, is Jerry Jones's. Because the players going to pick up on that real quick, because that's what they knew with Jason Garrett.
Here we go.
All right, guys. No mercy. So the Seahawks cut undrafted rookie corner Kemah Siverand yesterday after he was caught attempting to sneak a woman into the team's hotel. The now free agent rookie tried to dress her up in Seahawks gear so that she would look like a player. I can't handle this. Shannon, your reaction.
Skip, I'm going to give him an A for effort. I'm going to give him an A for creativity. I'm going to give him an F for execution. Now, I mean, when they got to the security guard, they're like, man, that's a mighty shapely man. What position you play, sir? She got a ponytail hanging out the back of a baseball cap. And he thought that was a woman. But they did it right. Because what you're telling me, there's something that was more important than making this football team. So you know what I'm going to do? Pete Carroll and John Snyder said, I'm going to give you an opportunity to pursue your interests that's bigger than football. You're on your way, son.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So surveillance nailed this.
Yeah.
Surveillance tape,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay. So at first I tried to find this funny, and then we're not in funny times right now. So it's so disrespectful and such a threat to your teammates in a bubble type situation where you're all trying to stay safe so you don't have an outbreak. The season teeters on. I always tell you, the way it's come down now is you are as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah.
Well, this is a really weak.
Yeah, he was really weak at that moment.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, man?
And by the way, he's weak as a player, Kemah Siverand, because he's out of Oklahoma State, undrafted. He got a grand total of $2,000 to sign.
Yeah.
He's undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
Well, you just got your 15 minutes of fame for the worst possible reason in a football context.
Why did Adam eat that apple? What did Samson tell Delilah? Boy, they strong, man. They strong.
All right, that is it.
Joy, you know it.
Skip, Shannon, have a great weekend. We're back Monday, same time, 9:30 Eastern. See you guys soon.